Okay, so let us start. We will start with chapter 3, that is human reproduction. At first, we have to know about the definition of reproduction and what reproduction actually is. So, the reproduction is a complex process just like digestion, or you can say respiration, circulation and excretion. It is not a single step process, rather it involves multiple steps within it. It is a process in which a sexually matured organism, maybe a male or female, can produce its offspring. Okay, so the process of reproduction consists of various steps and which are discussed in this following flowchart. So at first, the first process, it is the formation of gametes. In this process, gametes will be produced in the gonads of a sexually mature male and sexually mature female organism. The gonad of sexually mature male organisms is known as testis, and the gonad of sexually mature female organism is known as ovary. Okay, and the male gamete which will be produced in the gonads of male is known as sperm, and the female gamete which will produce in the ovaries will be known as eggs. Okay, the gametes, you always have to remember that the gametes, whether it is a male gamete or it is a female gamete, the gametes are always haploid in nature. Why they are haploid in nature? Because they contain n number of chromosomes. So after meiosis or after reduction division in the gonads of male and female, the haploid gametes are formed. So the second step of this reproduction process is the fusion of haploid sperm with the haploid egg. You have to remember one thing, that the sperms are motile and the egg is non-motile. Okay, so after the fusion of sperm and egg, a single celled diploid zygote will be formed. Why the zygote is diploid? Because it contains twice n number of chromosomes and it is always a single cell. Okay, so after that the third step begins. So what is the third step? The third step is the cleavage. Cleavage is a type of cell division. In cleavage, a single cell divides into a number of cells, or you can say a mass of cell. So look at this diagram. In this diagram, it is clearly showed that the single celled zygote after cleavage or cell division is converted into a mass of cell, or zygote is converted into a ball in which there are many cells remain suspended. Simply after cleavage, a single cell zygote will be converted into a mass of cell containing several cells. Okay, so this process is known as blastulation. Okay, so blastulation is a process in which the single cell zygote is converted into a mass of cell. Okay, so after blastulation, the process of gastrulation starts. Okay, what is gastrulation? We will discuss it later on. After gastrulation process, the full-fledged offspring will be formed. Okay, so it is the total overview of the reproduction process in human beings. Okay, so to study the whole process of reproduction, at first we have to know about the structure of male and female reproductive system. So the first topic of this chapter will be the structure of male reproductive system. So here is the male reproductive system. The male reproductive system consists of four different parts First one is the gonad, second one is the accessory ducts, third one is the glands, followed by external genitalia or penis. Okay. So the gonads in male consist of a pair of testes. Okay, the gonads in male consist of a pair of testes. Means gonads in male consist of 2 number of testes. Okay, and you have to remember that the testes are termed as primary sex organs. Okay, so the question arises, why they are termed as primary sex organ? So the answer is, since the testes directly involved in the production of sperm, or you can say inside the testes the sperm will produce, or inside the testes the male gametes are produced. So testes will directly involve in the process of sperm production, as a result of which the testis is also termed as primary sex organ. Okay. Now see, these 3 structures, accessory ducts, glands, external genitalia, these 3 are together termed as secondary sex organ. Now, why they are called secondary sex organ? Because they do not directly take part in gamete formation or sperm production. Okay, they will help in the process of reproduction. So how these structures helps in the process of reproduction, we will see. As for example, accessory ducts. Accessory ducts involved in the sperm transfer from one place to another. Okay, we will see it later on, from where to where the accessory duct transferred these sperms. Then the second one is the glands. We all know that the glands have endocrine functions, as they are involved in the hormone production. Okay, so they do not play direct role or direct part in sperm production. Rather than it, they involve in the hormone production. Okay. So glands have endocrine function and they are involved in hormone production. Secretion of hormones, rather they secrete some chemicals, or you can say they secrete some substances which will help in reproduction. Okay, we will see the function of different type of glands like prostate gland, Cowper's gland, this type of glands, and we will also see that how these glands help in reproduction. Okay, so what is the function of this gland? This gland will secrete some sort of substances which help, or you can say which assist the process of reproduction. Okay, and the third one is the external genitalia. Okay, so the external genitalia will help to transfer the sperms, or you can say the semen. Okay, the testes will produce sperms, and the secretion of the gland, we can say the secretion of the gland is termed as semen. So the sperm and semen is together transported from male body to female body with the help of external genitalia. Okay, now similarly in case of female reproductive system, ovary, since ovaries are directly involved in the ova or egg production, so the ovaries only are termed as primary sex organ. Okay, and we will see the rest of the structure which remain also present in the female reproductive system, like fallopian tubes, then uterus, then cervix, vagina. They do not directly take part in the formation of eggs or ova, but they assist, or you can say they help in the process of reproduction, as a result of which these structures like fallopian tube, then uterus, cervix, vagina in female reproductive system are termed as secondary sex organs. Okay, so I think that the concept of this primary and secondary sex organ are now clear to all of you. Now we will discuss our next topic. Okay, now we will discuss about the structure of male reproductive system. Okay, so the first structure we have to study in male reproductive system is the scrotum. Okay, so look at here. Scrotum is a sac or pouch like structure which is situated outside the abdominal cavity. Okay, the scrotum will always lie or reside outside the abdominal cavity. That means it lies outside our body. Okay, testes are situated outside the abdominal cavity within a sac-like structure which is called scrotum. Okay, the scrotum is partitioned into two halves by a scrotal septum. Okay, the cavity of scrotum, this is the cavity of scrotum, and this cavity of scrotum is connected to the abdomen by a canal which is known as inguinal canal. Okay, so the two testes in male remain suspended in a sac or pouch like structure. This sac or pouch like structure which remain present below the abdominal cavity is termed as scrotum or scrotal sac. This scrotal sac is partitioned into two halves by scrotal septum, and the whole cavity of the scrotum is connected to the abdomen by means of inguinal canal. Inguinal canal. Okay, so you can ask the question that why testes remain outside the male body, but in case of females, why ovaries remain present inside the female body. Okay, so the answer will be that the scrotum, the whole scrotum, helps to maintain the lower temperature of the testes. Okay, so how much lower? The scrotum will maintain a temperature which is 2 to 2.5 degree lower than the normal internal body temperature. Okay, and this low temperature is necessary for the process of sperm production inside the testes. Okay, so why this low temperature is essential for sperm production? Because if the temperature remains high, then the sperm mother cell, or you can say the sperm producing cell, will be destroyed. At high temperature, the SMCs or the sperm mother cell or the sperm producing cell become destroyed, as a result of which the sperm production at high temperature do not take place. So to maintain a constant or a continuous rate of sperm production, low temperature is needed, and this condition, or you can say this sort of temperature is maintained by the scrotum, as the scrotum lies outside the abdominal cavity, outside the body. So the scrotum maintains a temperature which is lower than the normal internal body temperature. Okay, so it is the role of scrotum in the production of viable sperm cells. Okay, viable and healthy sperm cells. Now we will discuss a term which is cryptorchidism. Okay, so this is basically a disease condition which is particularly occurred in human males or in male babies. Okay, so what happened in this disease condition? At the time of birth, when the testes fail to migrate by the body wall into the scrotum, this type of condition or this type of defect is termed as cryptorchidism. Okay, so what happened during at the time of birth, the testes will fail to migrate into the scrotum from the or through the body wall. Okay, so the testes fail to reach properly into the scrotum. Okay, so since we know that the scrotum will maintain the low temperature which is required or which is necessary for continuous production of sperm, so if the testes could not reach its destiny, that is in the scrotum, then we can say that the sperm production will hamper in this diseased organism. So the cryptorchidism, so in this disease, or you can say in this type of cryptorchidism is a disease in which a male baby will be born, and the male baby will be will become a masculine male, but it will remain as sterile. Okay, now you can ask that why the masculine character in the male baby having this disease cryptorchidism, so sorry, there was some problem. So let us start again. So you can ask that why the male baby in future will develop all the masculine male characters, but it remains sterile for lifelong or lifetime. So the answer will be that at low temperature, only the SMCs or the sperm mother cell or the sperm producing cells are stable, remain stable, and they can produce sperms. Okay, so sperm production is directly related to the fertility of an organism or of a male organism. But when we discuss the structure of testes or we discuss the ultrastructure of testes, we will able to know that there are certain cells remain present inside the testes which will produce male hormones, and these cells can able to produce the male hormone, that is the androgen or testosterone, even if at higher temperature. So when the testes fail to migrate inside the scrotum, only the sperm production will be hampered, because the low temperature condition is only maintained in the scrotum. Okay, but the hormone producing cells, that is you will able to know that the name of the hormone producing cell which remain present in the testes is interstitial cells or Leydig cell. So the Leydig cell can do their function, or they can produce hormones, male hormones, even if at higher temperature also. Okay, so since the male hormone, that is the androgen or the testosterone, will control the masculine character, so in that diseased baby, the male character or the masculine character will develop, but the sperm production will be hampered. Okay, so now we will study the histological structure of testes. Okay, so in this pic we will discuss the cellular organization of testes, because the histology also means the cellular organization, the study of cellular organization of certain organelles or organ. Okay, so let us start. So the heading will be the TS of testis. So TS means the transverse section. Okay, so suppose it is a pen. Okay, if we cut this pen vertically like this manner, the section will termed as vertical section, and if we cut this pen longitudinally, then the section will be called as LS. Okay, so the testis is composed of a large number of narrow tubules. Tubules are tube-like structures. Okay, so the testis is composed of a large number of tubules, narrow tubules. These tubules are known as seminiferous tubules. Okay, so in this section, you can see the seminiferous tubule as this type of rounded structure. Okay, in this figure, you can see the seminiferous tubule which are designated as this type of circular or rounded structures. Okay, the seminiferous tubules are lined internally. Look, I am telling about this. The seminiferous tubules are lined internally by germinal epithelium. Okay, so here we will study one particular seminiferous tubule. Okay, so the seminiferous tubule is lined internally by germinal epithelium. Okay, so this lining inside the seminiferous tubule is termed as germinal epithelium. Okay, the entire line of cell is called the germinal epithelium. Okay, the entire cells of this lining are termed as germinal epithelial cells. Okay, so in this entire cell lining of the seminiferous tubule, that is the germinal epithelium, the first layer of germinal epithelium is known as spermatogonia. Okay, the spermatogonia are also known as sperm mother cell. The name itself indicate the cell, sperm mother cell or SMCs are the cell which directly involved in the formation of sperms. Okay, the name itself suggests that they are the mother of sperms. Okay, the sperm mother cells. Okay, so the first lining or the first layer of germinal epithelium of seminiferous tubule is known as spermatogonia. Okay, now this spermatogonium or you can say the sperm mother cell will now produce a second layer of cell which is termed as primary spermatocytes. Okay, so the sperm mother cells or the spermatogonia of the first layer of germinal epithelium will now produce the second layer which is termed as primary spermatocyte layer. Okay, the primary spermatocyte layer then produce the third layer which is termed as the secondary spermatocytes. Okay, and the secondary spermatocyte of the third layer then produce the fourth layer. Okay, which consists of spermatid cell. Okay, the spermatid cells then produce the motile sperms. Okay, so the first layer of the germinal epithelium is the spermatogonia or sperm mother cells, which will divide to form the second layer which is composed of primary spermatocytes. Then primary spermatocytes will divide to form the secondary spermatocytes, which are represented in the third layer. Then the secondary spermatocyte will divide to form the spermatid cells. Okay, the spermatid cells then again divide to form motile sperms. Okay, so another type of cell, which is known as Sertoli cell, remain present between the germinal epithelial cell. Okay, the Sertoli cells are elongated cells which remain present between the germinal epithelial cells. Okay, since these Sertoli cells are very much rich in glycogen, so their function is to provide nutrition to the developing sperms. Okay, I hope up to this it is clear to all of you. Now, in between this seminiferous tubule, rounded structure, these are termed as seminiferous tubule, we know that. In between this seminiferous tubule, there lies another type of cell. Okay, so these cells which remain present between this seminiferous tubule are termed as interstitial cells or Leydig cell. So what is the function or utility of this Leydig cells or interstitial cells? This Leydig cell or interstitial cell will involve in the production of androgen or testosterone. Okay, so androgen or testosterone are the main male hormones, okay, which is secreted by the interstitial cell of the testis. And beside this interstitial cell and all this type of cell, in between the seminiferous tubule there also lies blood capillaries like this and connective tissues. Okay, so I hope that the TS of testis is now clear to all of you, that the testis is composed of what? The testis is composed of the testis is composed of numerous narrow tubules which are termed as seminiferous tubule. In the TS of testis, we will see the seminiferous tubule as this kind of rounded structures. Okay, so in the seminiferous tubule, the inner cell lining are known as germinal epithelium. Okay, so the first layer of germinal epithelium is known as spermatogonia or sperm mother cell. The sperm mother cell will then divide to produce the second layer, which consists of primary spermatocyte. The primary spermatocyte will again divide to produce the third layer of cell, which are the secondary spermatocyte. The secondary spermatocyte will divide to form spermatids. Okay, the spermatids then form the motile sperms. Okay, there are some elongated cells which remain present in between the germinal epithelium. These are termed as Sertoli cells, as they are rich in glycogen, so they are involved. Their main function is to provide nutrition to the developing sperm. And in between this seminiferous tubule, there lies another kind of cell which are known as interstitial cells or Leydig cell. Their main function is to produce male hormone. What is the name of that male hormone? Androgen or testosterone. Okay. And beside this interstitial cell, in between this seminiferous tubule, there also remain some blood capillaries and some connective tissues. Okay. So here we complete up to this TS of testis. Okay. So today we have completed that the primary and secondary type of sex organs. We will see that the primary sex organs in male or in female are directly involved in the production of gametes. Okay, and the secondary sex organs in males and females will assist the process of reproduction. Okay, then we have discussed about the function and structure of scrotum. Scrotum is a sac-like structure which lie outside the abdominal cavity. Okay, the scrotum is partitioned by scrotal sac. Okay, and the cavity of the scrotum remain connected to the abdomen with the help of inguinal canal. Okay, we have also studied about cryptorchidism, which is a disease in which at the time of birth the testes fail to reach the scrotum, as a result of which a defective male baby will be born, who will become muscular male in near future, but he remains sterile for lifelong. Okay, since the hormone production in this type of diseased male will not hampered, but the sperm production will be hampered, as the sperm production required lower temperature. Okay, and this lower temperature is only maintained in the scrotum, but the hormone producing cell, now we know the name of the hormone producing cell, these are the interstitial cells. The interstitial cells can secrete the male hormone testosterone even if at high temperature. Okay, so the muscular character of the male, like beard, muscle, will develop properly in this kind of diseased male babies, but at later period of life or later period of time they remain sterile, hence since the sperm production will hampered. Okay, then we studied that the TS of testes. Okay, in the TS of testes we have seen different types of cells are present. Okay, so we have covered primary and secondary sex organ, the function of scrotum, cryptorchidism, then the first part of the male reproductive system, which is the gonad or a pair of testes. Okay, so in the next class we will discuss about the secondary sex organs in male, which are accessory ducts, glands and external genitalia or penis, and after that we will study the structure of female reproductive system. Okay, so study well, revise all these things, and